All right. Excuse me. All right. So, firstly, before I start this video, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, as I always want to do. Firstly, um, and before I get into anything, I want to kind of talk to y'all a little bit real quick. Just talk to y'all about just a few things, not really too serious. But I'm recording this video on Friday. Some people, it's their Sabbath or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I might make a video in the future talking about the Sabbath and the difference between, like, the lunar Sabbath and the Friday to Saturday Sabbath, because either way, as long as you keeping, or setting out a day to give to, Yahweh, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of, how it used to customarily be, the Sabbath was kept, like, based off the moon or the lunar calendar, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But this past week or so, it's been kind of crazy because of the fact that just being a little bit sick and everything. Ain't nothing too crazy though. Just had like a stuffed nose. Really, that's really about it. And maybe, like, a little cough here and there. And had a cold in my throat. It was more so of a cold. Now, people, now I did really go get tested, and I know, of course, they called it COVID, but I didn't. I don't. I didn't really see it as COVID. It was more so really like a cold, or like, some people may say the flu. It just depends, but it was more so of a cold than actual COVID, because I know with COVID, like, your body, like, it breaks down and you can barely function. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to, move around a little bit and, still, you know, be a little bit active or whatever without, I guess feel like I'm dying or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm all good though. Uh, I kind of throughout the week just been healing from that. You know what I'm saying? Just been getting better. And at the same time, I feel like this week was needed for me to, like, in a sense, take a break, and at the same time to, like, get myself rejuvenated in the spirit, because of the fact that I've probably been a little bit spiritually low um prior to, me having like a week off in terms of, like, quarantine and everything, you know what I'm saying? But a few things kind of happened throughout my time of quarantine. Well, I would say this happened like about yesterday. Because, like I said, I'm recording this on Friday. So Thursday this happened. And I'm not gonna call out, like, what I'm saying, any names, nothing like that. But um I was about to cook some breakfast, right? And when I was cooking breakfast, uh I eat turkey bacon, you know what I'm saying? Because, of course, try to keep God's laws and not really eat any pork, any other, like, forbidden meats or whatever, like any pork, shrimp, lobster, none of that stuff. And of course, in my household that I live in, you know what I'm saying? Because this is not my household, like, I'm under a roof, but or I'm under somebody's authority, my parents' authority, you know what I'm saying? So I can't really, like, I can't run anything, you know what I'm saying? But uh any chance I get to, I guess, in a sense, help somebody keep God's commandments, I'm gonna try to do it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I had many conversations with people in my household. You know what I'm saying? Talking about God's laws, and talking about the especially like the law of, like, eating certain foods or whatever. And in my household, like, they eat, hot dogs a lot. They eat pork a lot. Not really any shrimp or any seafood for anything like that, but sausage and everything, like pork. That's a very, I guess, very used, or very eating meat in this household. You know what I'm saying? But I'm legit the only one that don't really do it. Not trying to make myself seem righteous or more righteous than people in my household, but I just know the fact that, I'm trying to lead my people down the right track. And, I want to see a change. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help my people, avoid uh uh basically getting damned by God. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all, I think it's in Isaiah 66, where it talks about, like, if your house shall come back, it catches y'all eating of swine's flesh. Swine is a pig or a pork, whatever you want to call it. If you catch y'all eating that, y'all gonna be included in that hell that's soon to come. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, just to get back to the story, I just saw some sausage and everything in the in the refrigerator. And now we all, like I said, in this household, like they eat pork a lot. You know what I'm saying? So there was like some sausage in there, some ham, some hot dogs. So I took it upon myself to, try to be a little bit sneaky, but in a very it's being like, still trying to be righteous though. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm trying to lead my people down the right path. But I was being a little bit sneaky, you know what I'm saying? And while nobody was looking, I took like, the all the ham and pork, anything that was pork related that was in that refrigerator, like whether it was hot dogs, ham, or sausage, took it, put it in a little bag or whatever, tied it up, threw it away. Cause I was trying to, in a sense, if I guess encourage at this, but at the same time, like, help my people, avoid from eating these foods. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just, what needs to be done when it comes down to any law, whether it be a law that concerns food, a law that concerns like, anything that has to do with your body, whatever it may be. Like you want to make sure that, you're following these laws, even if it's like wearing fringes, the Sabbath, whatever it may be, help your people at least try to keep the law. But um even when I threw it away, after a while, I think somebody in the household, like I said, I'm not gonna say any names, but somebody in the household that I was in, they took it out and still cooked it, cause I guess they was looking for it or whatever, cause if they wanted to eat some sausage for breakfast, and they was looking for it, and they asked me, they was like, hey, like where's the sausage or whatever, right? And I was like, well, I threw it away. And like I said, I had already had many conversations, you know what I'm saying, concerning how eating these foods are very bad. And at the same time, too, like, in these conversations, like it's like a very agreeable thing. How we know that, it's very bad to eat these things. At the same time, how in the Bible it's frowned upon in God's law. So, like I said, they took it out and everything, took out the trash and everything out the little bag. It was still in good condition because it was like legit. It was bought new. It was like a whole new pack of sausage. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm about to take all this and just throw it away because I'm not gonna like have y'all break a law. You know what I'm saying? But that's when it come down to like the dedication and also um lack of what's the word? Lack of, I would say, strength, or lack of not responsibility. Try to find the word, lack of discipline. There we go. Lack of discipline when it come down to God's laws, because everybody in this household is not as, I guess you could say, um knowledgeable of the word and how serious God's laws are. But I don't take that and I guess frown upon anybody. I don't try to bash anybody for not knowing God's laws. I don't try to do anything to make somebody feel bad for not knowing God's laws. I'm not trying to keep them to the best of their ability. But like I said, if I could in a sense try to help or try to assist, and because the like I said, first thing I always do, I want to inform y'all first. I don't want to just sit here and just force y'all to not do something. Like I'm gonna at least let you know about it. And if I let you know about it, then it should be something that should be implanted in your head. Now, me throwing away that sauce is kind of like a test, just looking back at it, because of the fact that it's testing to see whether or not you're taking that I guess knowledge of knowing, or that knowledge of knowing, taking that knowledge of sausage being or pork being bad, and pork being something that we shouldn't eat, taking that knowledge and applying it. So the fact that that person took it out of the trash can and still cooked it and everything, it's letting you know how, hey, like as of right now, not really too into the law just yet, but as time goes on, they'll learn. You know what I'm saying? But that's just a little story time that I wanted to give y'all a little bit, because of the fact that I want people to I want to set an example for anybody who's trying to who may be in the truth. Because when you're in this truth, you're in it by yourself, damn near. Like it's not really too many people that's with you in this. You know what I'm saying? Even if you may be in a household with your whole family or whatever, if you're the only one in the truth and you're trying to influence others, it's gonna take probably a longer time to get them into it, especially if they're already stuck in some other worldly, you know what I'm saying, mindset, you know what I'm saying? But at least try to help your people. You know what I'm saying? Even if they may not try to keep the law to the best of their ability, at least try to help and assist them, whether it be in a sneaky way, whether it be in a whatever way it may be. Don't be, well, I'm not gonna sit here and say don't do this, don't do that. As long as you're helping your people trying to keep the law, that's all good. You know what I'm saying? But that's really all I wanted to say with like that. But now let's get into the lesson after that long little intro, whatever. Now, if y'all wanted to skip that, y'all could have skipped that and everything. I don't mind. I don't care. If y'all want to get to the lesson, I'm about to get to the lesson right now. So for this lesson, it's going to be like kind of a little bit of a class session. that's that's how most of my videos. That's how I try to I guess that's the goal I aim to like do, is to make it like a little bit of a class setting session, whatever you want to call it, or whatever. Just teaching y'all certain things that I've learned, and to really help y'all understand certain things. You know what I'm saying? But I want to be talking about Adam and Eve. And I know I made a video, or I think my first video that I made talking about the Bible, I referenced trees and everything and all that stuff, and how, like, Adam and Eve weren't the first people on the planet, basically. But I'm a further expand on that and really break down like the creation of man and everything, and let y'all know exactly what's going on. Because a lot of people, may have that mindset to where it's like, oh, Adam and Eve were the first people on the earth and everything, and people may not tie in to Cain and Abel and how Cain's wife. It's a lot of things that people got to tie in to really, understand why I may say that Adam and Eve are not the only two people or the first two people on the earth. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into all that, and through the spirit of it, how we're gonna help y'all understand these concepts and these topics. I know that there's more videos I'm gonna make in the future, because I want to make sure I'm being very diverse with my videos, that I'm not just focusing on just one thing all the time. That there's a lot of different questions that people maybe a lot of different topics, a lot of different concepts in the Bible that people want to know about, and I want to explain it to y'all. A lot of people may not really know how deep Adam and Eve really is. A lot of people may not really know the true story or background behind Adam and Eve, like the connection to other topics or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna explain all that in this video. So just to kind of make it a little bit soothing or whatever, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just have some lo-fi music playing in the background, some little study music or whatever. Hopefully it's not too loud. Then that's good enough. If that's too loud, then I don't know what to do about that. But all right, so let me go get my notes real quick. All right, so the first thing we're going to go to Genesis 1 in the beginning, basically. In the beginning, to kind of explain. Hold up. All right, that's probably good enough. All right, so Genesis 1, I'm gonna start at verse 21. So I'm gonna highlight it so y'all can really see it. So Genesis 1:21, it says, and all right, and God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good. So the questions that I want to ask, just rhetorical questions I want to ask, like, the audience and everything that may be watching this video. So are you a creature? Are you a creature? and I'm gonna like y'all can pause the video and think about that, or y'all can answer it on the spot, whatever answer in your mind, whatever it may be. But are you a creature? Are you a living creature? So for those who may say no, I'm gonna go into the Greek of that word creature. So it's Strong's H5315, Nefes, creature, the biblical. All right, so it says soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind, living being, desire, emotion, passion. So for those who may say that you're not a living creature, even though, I don't think that people will say that, but if for those who may say that you're not a living creature, you are. So when it comes down to, these living creatures or whatever, it includes everybody or everything that moves. He said every living creature. So now I'm gonna skip down to verse 26. And this is where we're gonna get into the actual man. You know what I'm saying? But it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So, question I want to ask y'all a little bit too. So, where is Adam and Eve in all of this? Because Adam and Eve was talked about later. Like this was way before Adam and Eve. Way before this was talked about. Like when it said he made man. But I'm continuing to read it. But it says, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female. Created he them. So, like I said, this is way before Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve wasn't even mentioned just yet. This was mentioned before Lockyer. This was mentioned before Adam and Eve. So it said that he created male and female, he created them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. The first commandment, this was part of the I guess you could say Adamic covenant, but this was one of the first commandments given to mankind, to be fruitful and multiply. What does that mean? Have sex, reproduce, make more of your kind, basically. So be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. That was the first commandment given to mankind or human being, whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? So basically, before Adam and Eve and everything was even talked about, man, male and female was already made in this instance. So basically, this is like a little bit of proof of how there were people on the earth before Adam and Eve, basically. Or you could, because a lot of people may say that Adam and Eve was the first two people on the earth, or the first male and female on the earth, but there were people here too. The Bible didn't really state that Adam and Eve were the first two. Of course, they were probably the first two specific people mentioned or whatever, but they were not the first two. Adam and Eve. Adam was chosen out of people. I'm gonna show y'all that though, but I'm gonna give y'all a little bit just a quick question. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more proof on how Adam and Eve, they how they weren't the only two people on the earth, or they weren't, just by themselves. They gotta understand where other people came from. But when it comes down to Cain and Abel, right? So I'm not gonna really go into scripture though, but what happened? So Cain, after Cain killed Abel, what happened? And like I said, y'all can answer this in your mind, or y'all can just think out loud or whatever. But after Cain killed Abel, what happened? So y'all know that Cain, he was cursed. He was cursed for killing Abel. But after he was cursed, he went to go get a wife, right? So when he went to go get his wife and find his wife, where did his wife come from? His wife came from another nation, right? So that's letting you know how there were more people on this earth. It wasn't just Adam and Eve by themselves. there was people all around. You know what I'm saying? So Cain, like, when he went to go find his wife, let him know how there were still other people, surrounding them and other people on the planet with them. But the Bible never says that Adam and Eve, like, the only two people or the first two people. Like, no, they were the first chosen people, but they were not the only two people on the earth. There were still other people surrounding them, or other nations surrounding them. So now let's go into the serpent. Or, matter of fact, let me see something. No, y'all can go on that. I can go on that, yeah. Now I'm gonna kind of explain how the serpent was a man, because some people think that this serpent was a actual snake, and they may not understand how, like, the serpent in the trees were men as well. But we're going to get into all that, though. We're going to get into all that. So Genesis chapter 3, and start at verse 1. It says, now the serpent was made, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So why is it calling the serpent a beast? What is a beast? What do you consider like a beast to be? Like, maybe like a like a werewolf, maybe like a tiger, maybe a lion, a gorilla. Like you'll consider a beast something in that sense, right? So why is it calling a serpent, which is like a reptile? Why is it calling a reptile a beast? If you want to, we could play semantics and everything, but just in this instance, why is it calling a serpent a beast? This is just like a question that y'all can, like I said, think about. Now, I'm gonna also give y'all proof of how men in the Bible were referred to as beasts, or serpents or whatever, right? I'm gonna show y'all that. So let me go to Leviticus real quick. I'm gonna show y'all how serpents or people were called beasts, or were called serpents and everything. Leviticus 26. I'm gonna start at verse 22. Look, it says, I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and in your highways shall be desolate. So, what is this talking about? This is talking about one of the curses that was going to be put upon God's chosen people, the Israelites. One of the curses, this one curses that was going to be put on them if they didn't keep God's commandments. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of them. So, did an animal do these things? Did an animal take their children from them? Did like just a whole group of just beasts or whatever, a group of snakes or serpents just went and just took the children from them and destroyed their animals and made them kill them? Like, did an animal do all this? No. This is referring to people. There were certain people who robbed them, in terms of actually like taking them and putting them in what? Slavery. Taking the children from them, destroying their cattle, making them few in number, meaning like kill them, massacre. That's what it means by that. So these beasts are not like in reference to actual animals. When you just read it and try to read it with a literal mindset, you're not going to understand that. You're not going to understand the allegory behind all these things. You know what I'm saying? So that's like one piece of evidence of how men were called beasts. But I'm gonna also go to Matthew and show you how men were called serpents. So Matthew 23 and 33, it says, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? So once again, it's not talking about let me put a red letter on. It's not talking about actual snakes, actual serpents, actual vipers. He said, ye serpents, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? And he's referencing men. Because if you go back, it says, wherefore ye be witnesses to yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers. So talking about how somebody killed some prophets and referring to, like, it says, wherefore behold, I still see you prophets and wise men and scribes. So all this is in reference to an actual people, men. So in the Bible, it referred to people as serpents, as beasts or whatever, right? So hopefully, y'all got the gist of that and everything. But let me go back to Genesis. All right, so the serpent was made more subtle than any beast of the field. So like I said, this referred to a man, right? Which the Lord God had made, and he said unto the woman, Eve, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Now you got to break down, for one, what is the tree and what is the garden? What is the tree and what is the garden? To explain, this tree thing real quick, because like I said, I made a video about it, explaining how trees were people in the Bible, but I'm a further expound on that. So I'm gonna go to Ezekiel 31. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Ezekiel 31 verse 3. It says, behold, the Assyrian, so the Assyrian, that's a man, right? The Assyrian, because it's or a human, right? It's not referring like an Assyrian. Can't be a tree. Like a physical tree cannot have an identification or a nationality. So it says the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches. A tree has a branch, right? A tree has branches, right? So it is very allegorical. It's not like literally talking about actual trees. It's literally like in connection to or showing you how synonymous trees are to people in the Bible. That's just like the beauty of the precepts and how creative the Bible is, or Yahweh is, in terms of how he made this word. So it called an Assyrian a branch. A cedar, referencing like an actual human to a tree. Well, let me go down to verse 18 too. But this is the whole point I was trying to get to, right? So look, it says, to whom art thou thus like in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Among the trees of Eden. So this refers to the Eden, right? Eden, right? The Garden of Eden. Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh. This is Pharaoh. So who's that tree? That tree is Pharaoh. It says, to whom art thou thus like in glory among the trees? Shall be brought down with the trees. It said this tree basically is talking about Pharaoh. So what is a pharaoh? A pharaoh, if you know what a pharaoh is, that's the title given to the leaders, or I guess you could say the head of Egypt. Those are the titles of like Egyptian rulers. So Pharaoh is that tree. Pharaoh is that tree that was in Eden. But that tree represents Egypt, basically, if that makes sense. So Pharaoh represents Egypt. Egypt is that tree, or that nation, or whatever you want to call it. Those trees. That was Egypt, basically. That's letting you know how the trees is when it says this is Pharaoh and all his multitude. So Pharaoh and his trees. So the main tree and his other trees, basically. That's what it's in reference to. So now let's go back to so y'all should know what the tree is for one, right? So y'all know what the tree is. So let's go into like what the garden is. Let me go to Genesis 2 real quick. 2. Let me see. Or is it it's Slocky. There's just 3. So it says, okay, All right. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. So y'all should know about the fruit and everything. So I already made a video talking about it. But the fruit, when the Bible says, like, ye shall know them by their fruits, what is the fruit? What does he mean by that? Because even if you go to Matthew, he references false prophets, or he calls false prophets trees, basically. False prophets are people, right? So it's further proof to how trees are people. But what is the fruits of the tree? Because when a tree grows and everything, like the fruit is what come off the branches. So what is the fruit of the tree? The fruit of the tree is like their ways, their ways or whatever, their actions. Because I can even bring up the word fruit. So of course it may seem like, okay, produce, offspring, but I know there's another Matthew in the Greek. This is the Hebrew, but in Matthew in the Greek, the biblical definition of it was referred to as their ways, what they do. So basically, like, we may mingle with the other trees. So basically, like, the other trees, there was trees in the garden, or people or nations that they could interact with. They can learn from them. They can probably eat from them. It just depends on whatever they were commanded to do. But it says, but of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. So it says that there was a tree that was in the midst of the garden. The midst. So let me show y'all something real quick. So y'all know about something called the Fertile Crescent, right? So the Fertile Crescent, that was land promised to Abraham, basically. The Fertile Crescent, it has, like, some of the most fertile land. That's why it's called the Fertile Crescent. But it has some of the most fertile land in the world. You can grow much crops there, much food there, much plants. Like, its soil and its ground is so rich that, like, it provides you with, like, a lot of resources. You know what I'm saying? But let me show y'all a map real quick, or a few maps. So this is the map of the Fertile Crescent, right? Fertile Crescent. Now you got the Euphrates River, and then you got the Nile River. Euphrates River right here, the Nile, Euphrates, Nile. So in between that, what is this right here? I got a little circle right here, just in between it. So what is in between all this? Now this right here is Israel. Israel. That's what's in between the Euphrates and the Nile River. This is all, like, compacted into it. But all this land, the Fertile Crescent was the main land that was going to be promised to Abraham. But in all reality, like, in the bigger sense, like, all of it was promised, like the whole enchilada. It was all promised to us. You know what I'm saying? But this is mainly, like, where Israel was. That's Israel. Let me go to a different map. Let's look. I just got a few maps I just want to show y'all. But look. Let me see. Fertile Crescent. So basically, when you search up, like, what is in between, what you call it, the Nile and the Euphrates River, it says Fertile Crescent. So it says 2 rivers. Okay, Nile River also runs part of it. Irrigation, agriculture. Just kind of break it down, like, how Fertile Crescent is very important, or very, like, I guess, useful for Israelites and everything. But once again, the same map. It's kind of the same map. Israel was right there in that little spot. Then you got, the Fertile Crescent, which runs from, like, here to here. It's kind of the same thing. Same map. It's different, it looks different. Now this is like a zoomed in picture of Israel. This is a zoomed in picture of Israel, because we got the Mediterranean Sea right here. So let's go back real quick. Hold up. Okay, look. Got the Mediterranean Sea, right? Mediterranean Sea. That's right above. And then you have Israel right in this area right here, right? Let's go back to that map. But this is where Israel is, like, smack in the middle of that. Israel is smack in the middle of all that, right? Now, if I know about Israel, we had to go take that land from somebody. Who do we take that land from? This land, Israel. Who do we take this land from? Because there was a war at one point, but we took the land from somebody. Who do we take it from? That's just like a question that I want y'all to kind of think about, and y'all can like I said, think about it in your head. If you don't have an answer, you don't have to say anything at all. Like I said, it's kind of like a class or whatever. Just act like it's a class and really just I guess answer in your mind, or you can answer out loud, whatever you want to do, and just answer. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully y'all taking notes too. That's the main thing I want y'all to do too. Is really take notes, to understand these things. You know what I'm saying? Understand the precepts behind it, and also you maybe take like a screenshot or something of these maps, because these maps are very important. These maps are very important to knowing the Bible. Basically. You gotta know about archaeology, history, all that stuff to connect everything. But who do we take this? Who do we fight? Take the land from? So when you go to Joshua, in Joshua it was Canaanites. Let me go to that real quick. So Joshua chapter 7. So look, Israel is defeated. So there was already a war, but it says Israel is defeated in Ai, or Ai, however you want to pronounce it. But look, what is Ai? But it says, for the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it. So Ai is a city in Canaan. Let me show y'all. Hold up. Ai is a city of Canaan. So look, a city lying, okay, of Jericho, second day, second invasion of Canaan. So Canaan, like they basically had that city in their possession because they invaded it and made it theirs. So Ai is a city of Canaan. Even when you go into like the the Zondervan Bible dictionary and everything, it'll help you understand or it'll break down the definition of Ai and certain cities, certain all that stuff and everything. But basically we had a fight with Canaan. Canaan was one of those lands, or one of that. There was a land that was right there beside Israel, or whatever. But they were residing with us, in Eden, basically. Let me draw another map real quick too. Hold up. Let's draw another map. So look, it says now this is Eden. Now this is just like a question mark, because it's showing you where most of Eden was. But like I said, the Fertile Crescent. The Fertile Crescent is right here. That's Fertile Crescent. And Eden was literally that's literally what it was, basically. But see right here, it says Canaan. Canaan was in that Fertile Crescent. Or a part of that, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Israel was right here, but Canaan was there with us in that Fertile Crescent, basically. They're legit in the midst of that whole thing. That's where Israel was. Israel was right here, and Canaan was right there. And this whole land was promised to us. This whole land was ours, basically. But once again, that shows you how there were other nations and other people that resided in Eden with us. It wasn't just us by ourselves. There was other people with us, at that time. So you had Canaan right there, and that was part of the whole part of Eden. So Canaan was with us in the garden, in the midst of that. That was that tree that was in the midst of the garden, basically. That was that tree that was in it. So the Canaanites, they were with us, at that time. So hold up, let me go back real quick. go back. Hold up. So it said there was a tree that was in the midst of the garden. So look, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden. So when it came down to all these other trees, there were so like I said, as we should already know, the trees represent people, nations of people. The fruit represent their ways, their doctrines, their whatever their customs, whatever it may be. That's what it's all talking about. So of every other tree, every other nation, we can go to them, we can learn from them, we can interact with them, we can learn their doctrines, we can learn something from them. But the Canaanites, they were the only ones we couldn't really interact with. Now, another thing too, I think there was a verse in the Bible, I forgot where it was, but I think God, he commanded Israelites to kill Canaanites. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I think that was in Joshua 2. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know in Deuteronomy 20, I'm looking up on my phone, but it says in Deuteronomy 20, verse 17. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right here so y'all can see it too. Just so y'all won't be left out. Deuteronomy 20:17. These are one of the commandments given to the Israelites. But it says, "But thou shalt utterly destroy them, the Hittites, Amorites, the Canaanites." The Canaanites were one of the people that Yahweh commanded that we destroy, because they were one of the nations that we shouldn't even deal with anyway. So when it comes down to the Canaanites, it's always been a hatred towards them. It's always been something with them that God didn't like. So he didn't want us to deal with them at all, because he just knew that they were full of sin. Because it says right here, look, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods. So should ye sin against the Lord your God. So look, he's letting you know right here that the Canaanites, and the rest of these people as well, but the Canaanites specifically, that they have other gods that they serve. Because let me show you this too. Let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this. Because some of the Canaanite gods were women. Look, it says bow. Where's it at? No, it was like a list. Look, so you got a Nat, virgin goddess. So it's a goddess right there. Asherah, mother of goddess. She's a wife, a woman. A goddess, a woman god. Asatari, Venus. Balat, female. Let's see. Where is it at? Ishman, goddess. Her 3 goddess. So they had gods too, but it was mainly goddesses. Kadesha, another goddess. So they had woman gods. Canaanites had woman gods. So that kind of ties in to how it was convenient for them to go to Eve and to separate Eve from her husband, because they already saw Eve as, you know what I'm saying, a god anyway, because she was a woman. They worshiped women, basically. It was a part of their culture, and that, once again, that goes against, God's hierarchy system, to where it has, you got Yahweh Shai, the man, woman, and child. But when it came down to Canaanites, the woman was like above, because they had woman gods. So instead of having Yahweh, they had She-Howah. You know what I'm saying? They had a she howl. They didn't have no he howl. That makes sense. But they served woman God, so of course they wanted to take Eve and get her by herself, separate her from her husband, in order to deceive her. So that serpent was a Canaanite, basically. That serpent was a Canaanite. It came from another what you call it, land or whatever, or another nation. It came to deceive these people, or deceive Eve, Adam and Eve, basically. But let me see. Also, hold up, just to give y'all more insight on how trees are people. Look, this all through the Spirit. Look right here. It says right here, for the tree of the field is man's life. For the tree of the field is man's life. The tree of the field is man's life. Letting you know once again how trees are people in the Bible. In a wide sense, trees are people. Not every tree in the Bible is a person, because sometimes there are trees in the Bible that are actual trees. But in the context of this right here, in Adam and Eve, the trees are people. It says it right here, plain as day. For the tree of the field is man's life. At this point, you're trying to argue with the Holy Spirit. You're trying to cut down the doctrine of Yahweh, because he's letting you know right here, plain as day, what the tree is. For those who may not even try to agree to the fact that a tree is a man in the Bible. It says clear as day once again, for the tree of the field is man's life. I gotta highlight it so y'all can really see it too. Okay, I can even zoom in because this. Let me go ahead and zoom in for y'all. This y'all can really see it. How far can you zoom in? For the tree of the field is man's life. This y'all can comprehend that. I don't want y'all sitting here being confused and being lost when I sit here and say that trees are people in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Bible confirms it itself. This is not me even saying that. It is not me saying that trees are people. The Bible says it itself, right there. It just said it. But let's continue though. Like I said, that serpent that was in the garden, that serpent was a man. I proved that as well through the Bible. How trees are people in the Bible as well. But that serpent that was in that Bible, or that tree, or the tree that was in the midst of the garden in Genesis 3, that was Canaan, basically Canaanites. And the serpent basically was a man from another nation, that was from Canaan. Basically telling you how it looked, Canaanites and everything, they're not bad. Because that tree of knowledge of good and evil, they knew good and evil. Adam and Eve didn't know evil just yet. But that's how the serpent, that Canaanite, tricked them. It was like, hey, we're not that bad. They God, he's Yahweh, he's scared because he don't want y'all to become gods. That's what he said. He knew that basically having what you call it, Eve interact with the Canaanite. Like I said, Canaanites, they had women gods. They had goddesses. So of course it was going to be convenient for them to say, hey, God, he's afraid that you're going to become a god. Even but it's ironic once again because of the fact that they had women gods. So that was the whole point of that whole thing. But let's go back to Genesis 3 though, and break it down even more. I'll break it down even more. Hopefully y'all understanding this. So but the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So, once again, you know what the fruit is. And at the same time, too, a lot of people want to sit here and say that, oh, like, it was like some new concept, some new doctrine of Adam and Eve saying that they were blind, or that they didn't have their senses yet. If they didn't have their senses, they couldn't hear, they couldn't see, they couldn't speak. How the freak was he talking? Was Adam and Eve talking? Was Eve talking to that snake there? They couldn't hear, see, or none of that stuff at all. How could she have known where the fruit? If you want to just like read it in a carnal mind, because when you read the Bible, you can't read it you got to read it in a spiritual sense. You have to read the Bible in a spiritual sense. You can't just read it with a carnal mind and think you're gonna understand something. If your mind stays so carnal, of course you're not gonna understand it. Of course everything's gonna be confusing because your spirit is not there yet to truly understand these concepts. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta really take everything out of your mind and stop questioning everything when it's right in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? If it's being explained, listen and really take heed to it, and look at the spiritual sense of it. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta think like you can't sit here and say that their senses was gone. If there's this is common. This ain't even gotta do with the Bible. You ain't even gotta think about the Bible in this. But it's common sense. How could someone have seen something? How could someone have knew where a fruit was? How could they have known that a snake or somebody was talking to them if their senses are gone? If they can't even taste, how do they even know how to pick up the apple and put it in their mouth? To pick up the fruit and put it in their mouth. So that's just retarded. But once again, this whole Genesis 3:6, letting you know that they basically Adam and Eve, they mingled or interacted with these people, these Canaanites and everything, and basically I guess took in their doctrines, took in their ways, learned their ways, their customs, and basically became open to sin. Because then it says, and after they ate the fruit or learned their ways, it says that the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. So I explained too how naked it's not talking about them being actually naked. That's in reference to sin. They were exposed to sin. Naked means exposed. Or when you're naked, you're exposed. But when they ate that fruit or learned from them, they were exposed to sin. But they were sinful, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. So those leaves, it's all a part of the whole tree thing, right? So those leaves are a representative of their doctrines, the doctrines of other nations, right? They try to take those doctrines and everything and cover up their sin. That's what they did. Try to take all those doctrines and cover up their sins, but it didn't work. It wasn't going to happen. So that's what the fig leaves were. It's all allegorical. All allegorical. So then it says, verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. So they try to hide with the Canaanites. They try to blend in with them and everything, try to hide and everything, so they won't be seen, because they knew they were about to get They knew they were about to get in trouble. But let me go to the Apocrypha real quick. I'm gonna go to Baruch. Chapter 5, verse 2. So look. So it says, cast about thee a double garment of righteousness which cometh from God. So double garment is that's like in a reference to like an apron, right? Or something that you wear. Same thing like with Adam and Eve when they put on like them aprons or whatever. It's the same thing with this. So God, his righteousness is a double garment. His righteousness is a double garment. His ways, his doctrines, they are representative of a double garment, basically. So what Adam and Eve did is that they basically cast away God's doctrines and God's righteousness and try to make their own righteousness by putting on those fig leaves. You know what I'm saying? They try to, like I said, cover up their sins by using other doctrines, but there was only one way of righteousness, and that's God's way. So when you put on God's garment, the righteousness of his Yahweh's garment and everything, that double garment, when you put that on, you become righteous. When you learn his ways, when you learn his doctrines and everything, that's how you become righteous. You can't become righteous, from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But let's go back to Genesis 3 though. Now let's go to the curse. The curse that was put on them, right? So, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, so as you already know, the serpent is a man. The serpent is a man. Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat. And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So what is this dust? What is this dust? So it's not talking about actually eating dust. And another thing too, for those who may say that the serpent isn't the serpent isn't a man or a human. So a serpent as an actual snake, right? A snake is already on its belly. Now some people may get into like the whole Anunnaki thing, or may try to get into the shape shift. Oh, the devil can change, his body and everything. I'm gonna get to all that, but from what the Bible says right here though, if a serpent, if just common sense from what we know, if a serpent is already slithering on its belly, are you telling me that he told a snake to do something it's already doing? He said, upon thy belly shalt thou go. But if I'm the serpent, I'm like, God, I'm already on my belly. Just like I said, thinking from a carnal mind, why would God tell a serpent to go down on his belly when it's already on his belly? And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Another thing too, serpents don't eat dust. Serpents don't eat dirt. They eat mice. They eat actual animals. So what do y'all mean when y'all sit here and say that you gotta think about it from a carnal mind and see how flawed it is. When you think about this from a carnal mind and see how flawed it is, and also at the same time too, how it goes against the doctrine of the Bible, you'll see how dumb and stupid it is to say that this serpent was an actual snake. It's all allegorical. Once again, you gotta read the Bible with a spiritual mindset. But let me show y'all. Let me expound on this dust real quick. So I'm going to go to 1 Samuel 2:8. So it said, he raiseth up the poor out of the dust. The poor out of the dust. So the poor that in a sense represents the dust represents like a state or a status of people, basically. So it says the poor were in the dust. The poor were in the dust. They were at a low state. They're not up on high. You know what I'm saying? So when he says that he's gonna eat the dust, it's in reference to what you would say the poor. How he's gonna feed on people who are low in status, basically. That's what he means when he says he shall eat the dust all the days of their life. So once again, it's not in reference to him saying that he's gonna actually make him eat dust. He's not talking about that. It's in reference to something that does represent something. Even when you go down here, it says Adam, sent to Adam, where is it at? When he told Adam that thou art dust. Right here. Because it started right here, but went down to right here. But it said, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return to the ground, for out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So that dust is in reference to people too. Dust is in reference to people. So in terms of like, being at a low state, basically, that's what it means though. Like in terms of the serpent feeding on people who are like, not really rich or whatever, or are not really high in status. All right, let's continue though. Let's continue. So we're going to continue to expound on this whole Adam and Eve thing, and how hopefully as of right now, people should have the mindset that, for one, Adam and Eve were not the only two people. They were not the only two people on the earth. There was other people with them, other nations surrounding them. For two, trees are people. For three, the serpent was a man. And I'm gonna continue to expound on that too. I'm gonna continue to expound on that, because look, it says right here, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So, is God saying that He's putting hate between an animal and a human? Is he saying that He's putting hate between a snake and a human? Because there are people nowadays who can hold snakes. They have pet snakes that don't harm them. So where's the hate? Where's the hate between a snake and a human? He said if in that case this serpent is an actual snake, where's the hate between the actual snake and the human? And plus, a snake, like in terms of seed, like a snake can have seed. A snake cannot have a seed that's like, I guess congruent with, a woman or whatever, right? Plus, a woman can't even have a seed, if you want to be technical. But it's not referring to like, the actual like semen. It's referring to like, her blood, not her bloodline, her lineage, her people, the descendants, people that come after her. That's what it means. But that goes into Jacob and Esau. Like I said, I already explained all that stuff, but I can like just touch on it a little bit. But when it came out to Jacob and Esau, when let me go to Genesis 25 real quick. Just to like reiterate it again. But look, so the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. Okay, so that's Esau. All right. So it says the elder shall, first of all, okay. I'm starting verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations, nationalities, different people, two manner of people are in her womb. Two manner of people shall be separated from her bowels. The one shall be stronger than the other. The elder shall serve the younger. But it says the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Letting you know how there's different people or different nations that's coming out of her womb, right? So the first people is Esau, Edomites. That's what that represents. Came out red. Then it said, after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. So when you go back to right here, when it says that, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So saying that the woman's seed was going to bruise the heel of the serpent's seed. So when you go back to right there, when it says that Esau, his heel was taken hold on by Jacob or whatever, it's letting you know which seed is which. So the serpent seed is Esau, and the woman's seed is Jacob. So Esau the Edomites and Jacob the Israelites. It all like comes back to this whole chosen people thing. Adam, he was chosen. And I can even go to second Esdras too. I think it's a second Esdras. But that kind of like shows you even more how Adam and Eve, they were kind of like, not Adam and Eve, but like Adam, there were people there were people separated from them. I think there's a verse somebody says separate. Hold up, Slocky, y'all, Slocky. But I think it said it separated the sons of Adam. If I remember. Sons of Adam were separated. Let me see. Sons of Adam separated. Oh, Deuteronomy 32:8. Yeah. Deuteronomy 32:8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So, of course, like, from Jacob, I mean, Adam was, not Adam, Jacob was a part of, like, the lineage, basically, you know what I'm saying? Jacob was a part of the lineage of, like, Adam and everything. Because where he came from Eve, you know what I'm saying? But it all got separated. Like I said, he divided the nations when he separated the sons of Adam. So in order to make all these different nations and everything, the sons of Adam were separated. Because once again, you had Cain and Abel. Because Cain and Abel, like, they were different. They were different. Cain was was a part of the wicked seed. Abel was part of the righteous seed. And it all flows down. You know what I'm saying? When Cain went to go find his wife, he made his own seed too. So it's all like congruent. You know what I'm saying? It all correlates. It all connects. But let me get back to the thing though. All right. So once again, you just got to understand, for one, did he put hate between a woman's seed and a serpent seed, or an animal in a woman's seed? No. Once again, I already proved how this serpent was a man. And let me, matter of fact, hold up. Let me go to Isaiah real quick. Look, Isaiah 14, I'll start at verse 12. So look, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. So a lot of people think that Lucifer is already in heaven, or he was an angel in heaven. First of all, Lucifer, he's not an angel in heaven. They sit here and a lot of y'all say that, oh, Lucifer, he was one of the most beautiful angels in heaven. He had he was the angel of music. Why is he saying right here then? Why is he saying right here that Lucifer is speaking? He said, Lucifer himself said, I will ascend into heaven. So when it says that I will ascend into heaven, that means that you have a plan to do it, right? That means that you haven't did something yet, right? So when he says that I will ascend into heaven, that means as of right now he's on earth, right? But it's all still metaphorical, because he's not saying that he's going to actually, like, go to heaven. Like, he's saying that he's going to, like, try to be above God and try to be a God. That Tower of Babel shit, you know what I'm saying? But it says I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. So yes, Lucifer did want to be God. Lucifer did want to have the status of God, but he wasn't in heaven though. He didn't get what's called cast down from heaven. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? that's not what happened. So Lucifer was already on this earth, one. But it says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So is he in hell? Because it says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. So they say that Lucifer, that he's already residing in hell right now and just waiting on everybody to come to him. So is he in hell right now or not? Because it's saying right here that yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. So what's going on right here? But that's not the whole point I'm trying to make though. But this is the point I'm trying to make. In verse 16 right here, it says that they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Hold up. I thought the snake was just an actual, like, snake. Lucifer is that serpent, basically. Like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all know this. The devil and Lucifer, those are in reference to people. Satan is a godly entity. Satan is a godly entity. Lucifer and the serpent or the devil, those are in reference to people. I already showed y'all how people were called serpents in Matthew 23. But Lucifer, well, I just showed y'all too right here. Lucifer, he's on the earth. He's on the earth, like he was on the earth deceiving people. Because it says right here, he said, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So Lucifer is a man. Satan is a godly entity, because Satan was called the god of this world. But that's like a godly entity though. So Lucifer and the devil are two different, like you gotta understand the difference between all of them. Even though they're still under like the same, I guess you could say, system. Because Satan is like I said, Satan is the god of this world. And Satan, he's like the god of these devils and Lucifer, basically. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, like, you know, like Satan is not the same as the devil and Lucifer. That's one thing I'll get y'all in mind. Just because they have names that connect to each other and everything doesn't mean that they're the same. You gotta understand the slight differences between them. You know what I'm saying? But in this instance, once again, verse 16, Lucifer was called a man, the man that made the serpent tremble. Even when you go to Revelation 20 real quick, right? And I did like a breakdown of this too, but it says, and he laid hold on that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan. Look. Let me show y'all something about English, right? So he said that old serpent, comma, which is the devil, meaning that it's explaining who this is. So anytime you put a comma and do something like this, that's in reference to this subject. So it said he laid hold on that dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil. Like I said, the devil is in reference to people. That devil is in reference to like a nation of people, which is Babylon, basically. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, just the people. You know what I'm saying? But it said the devil and Satan, comma, and Satan, meaning that when you separate that, it's letting you know that there's a distinct difference between them two. So it said that old serpent, comma, you can take this out, because which is the devil is basically just, like I said, explaining what the old serpent is. But you can take that out though, and it says that old serpent, comma, and Satan. So Satan, once again, is the god. He's the god of the world, because that's Job 9:24. But no. That's Slakia. That's not Job 9:24. That Job 9:24 is God gave him, like, you know, the world is given to the hand of the wicked. But that's the devil, right? You know what I'm saying? But Satan is, like I said, distinct from the devil. The devil and that dragon, that's in reference to people, because he's called like a red dragon. A red dragon, because that represents Edom. So what does Edom mean? Edom or Adam, it means red. Y'all can look it up real quick. Look it up for y'all. Let me show y'all real quick. Because when he's called like a red dragon, hold up. Edom or Adam, Edom means red. So when it says that red dragon in Revelation, that's like in reference to what's called it, Edom. So look, let me show. Where does it say red dragon? Hold up. Lucky, yeah, Revelation 12:3, a great red dragon. So that dragon represents Edom, Esau, or whatever, right? And that's like in reference to, like, the devil. Once again, the devil can be in reference to people. So the devil is people. Satan is the God that's over those people. So hopefully all this stuff makes sense. And hopefully everything came together, letting you know like a lot of stuff. Cause like I said, this is like a lesson to like help y'all understand just the whole Adam and Eve thing. This video was very edifying for like a lot of stuff. A lot of things. Not just Adam and Eve, but just also just the devil and who he is. A lot of people may not really know what the devil is. A lot of people may not know what Lucifer is or who Lucifer is. A lot of people may not even know who Satan is. But you got to understand the difference between all of them. There's a distinct difference between all of them. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for this video, though. Hopefully y'all got edified. Hopefully. And I know this video will hopefully, I know it helps somebody. I know it helps somebody understand something, because I know this topic is very very misunderstood between a lot of people when it comes down to what you call it, when it comes down to just understanding Adam and Eve and the devil and this whole Jacob and Esau. A lot of people don't really understand it. And of course, I'm not going to make a whole, video explaining all of it just yet, because I know trying to explain all of it is going to be like 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, and y'all gonna have to buckle up for that, because in the future I may make videos that may be that long. You may not know, because it may get to a point in time where I got to, explain the whole thing because of the fact that it's needed. A lot of people don't really have that attention span. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even have attention span for 30 minutes. And it's kind of sad too, because of the fact that in church, y'all went to church, everything for like hours, for like maybe 4 or 5 hours, and y'all listen to lies. But as soon as somebody's trying to tell the truth, y'all don't want to listen. Y'all would rather go to a church that preaches for like hours and tell you lies and don't teach you nothing. I promise you right now, you will learn more from this channel in Hebrew Israelites than you did 10 years in church. You will learn more from this hour of me talking than you do in 10 years of church. I promise you that. That's a promise. That's a fact too. Because church don't teach you nothing. They don't teach you about, the Greek, the Hebrew. They don't teach you about, archaeology. They just say bullcrap. They just go up there and scream and yell and shout for like hours and everything. Don't teach you nothing at all. But hold up. Go ahead. But yeah, like I said, that's it for this video though. Hopefully y'all, like I said, got edified through the spirit. Hopefully y'all learned. Y'all learned a lot. Hopefully y'all took notes, took everything in, because this video is very edifying. It's very edifying for people who may not understand certain topics of, referring to Adam and Eve and all that stuff, and just the serpent. So one thing that y'all, this like a summary. This is a summary of what we should have learned, right? So for one, Adam and Eve were not the only two people on this earth. Adam and Eve were not the first or the only two people on this earth. There were other people with them. Those trees, those were other nations. Even I'll let y'all know too how in Genesis, in the first chapter, people were created before Adam and Eve were even mentioned. People were created before Adam and Eve were even mentioned. So, in a sense, like Adam and Eve, they were not the first two people. They were just chosen. Adam was just chosen. Simple as that. So, also, y'all should have learned that the serpent was a man. I proved that with many precepts. The serpent was a man. The devil is a man as well. Satan, he's a god. Satan, he's a god. But the serpent and the devil and the dragon as well, that represents people, nations, Trees represent people, nations. The branches, they represent the doctrines. The fruit represent doctrines and ways. What else? It's a lot of things that y'all should learn in this video, and hopefully it made a lot of sense. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. If I did, it's Lakia, you know what I'm saying? But I try my best to explain this in a way where it's not confusing and doesn't lead to confusion. Because God, He's not the author of confusion. So if you're confused, this one thing I'll say: either you're just not spiritually, there to understand it, or you're really genuinely confused. But in my eyes, y'all may not be spiritually there if you don't understand it. I'll say that, but it's not bad. It's not bad to not be spiritually there because of the fact that there are certain concepts that are hard to pick up on. You know what I'm saying? That may be hard to understand for certain people. So you may be at a very I guess ground level understanding, and you got to work up to get there. You know what I'm saying? So certain topics or certain I guess things may not really be comprehended just yet until you understand the basics stuff first, and then get into everything else. You know what I'm saying? But this video, hopefully still edifies somebody, even if it may have not been understood by somebody else. Hopefully, somebody understood it. But that's all I got for y'all. Like I always say, keep God's commandments, stay in God's word. Even if you're going through temptation or whatever it may be, ask God to help you fight it. You're not in this battle alone. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh, He's there with you. He's always with your people. He's always with His people, which is Israel, which is the Black, Hispanic, and Native man of this man, woman, and child of this world. So God, He's always with y'all. He's always with us, and He's gonna stay with us till the end, even after the end of this world. You know what I'm saying? But y'all just stay prayed up, stay edified through this world where it has these sicknesses, diseases, much wickedness going on, much things you got to fight through and everything. But peace and shalom.